Okay guys, so today we'll be working on making our level filled and level cleared scenes. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and navigate to the folder where all of your textures are located. And mine are here. And you want to go and get the, where are they? Actually, I haven't put them in. I'm going to update the folder with the textures you need for level filled and level passed. They're actually in my other folder. So yeah, I'll update the 2D folder and you guys just download that one and it will actually have the graphics and everything too with it. Mine are located in my new game. It says GFX. Actually, no. Let me locate these. Alright, so you should have textures that look like these and these too. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna rename this button right here really quickly, and I'm gonna call it quit. And the first thing we do is just go ahead and copy both of these textures and copy, and you want to paste them in your graphics folder of your project, and copy the two backgrounds here, copy and paste those into your folder too. Alright, so now let's go to our resource manager and start loading in these textures. Now the first thing we want to do is before we start loading these in, we need to create some new bitmap atlases. So we need to do private buildable bitmap texture atlas, and we're going to call this leveled filled atlas and level passed atlas. Alright, and so now let's go down to our load game graphics method here, and we're going to do this. Actually, we need to load our textures first, our atlases. So we need to do this level filled atlas equals new buildable bitmap texture atlas activity.get texture manager, and we're going to set this at 10 by 24, and set the texture options and bilinear the P word. If someone can pronounce that word, please let me know. I always have trouble pronouncing it. And end that, and make sure you spell that correctly. Next, we need to do the same thing for our level clear. So just copy this, Control C and then Control V, and just change this to level cleared, and it does pretty much the same thing. And it should be leveled. Oh, level passed atlas. I don't know I called it that. And right down here, we need to go ahead and do this and start loading our textures. Actually, we need to go create them first. So we need to go back up, and right here we actually do it right here. We can create our textures. So do public I texture region, and call it restart button, quit button, failed BG, which is failed background, and cleared BG. Alright, let's go load them. So just copy this method here, Control C, the player texture, the coin texture, Control C it, Control C, and then Control V, and change the name of it to we're first going to do the cleared BG, and you want to change the atlas to this leveled passed atlas, and change the texture file to the level cleared background PNG, level cleared background, level cleared background, and that's it. So now let's do the level filled background. Control C, Control V, and do filled BG, and then leave everything else the same and just change this file to level, level filled PNG, and do the same thing again, and do restart button, and leave everything the same and change the last file name to restart PNG, and last but not least the quit button, and change that to quit button, and change this to quit. Alright, so now we need to go to our try and catch and do copy this, actually just copy this whole entire method to functions and change it to this level failed at last, and change this to level failed at last 2, and change this to level passed at last. Now what this does is it basically loads our textures. So it loads both atlas files, not textures, but it loads both atlas files. And what happens is these textures right here are painted on these atlases, and then the atlases are loaded right here. Alright, so we can go ahead and start working in our game class. So just save that, go to your game scene, and we can now start coding some of our scenes. So the first thing we need to do is we need to create 2 menu scenes. So we need to do private, and we need to do menu scene, level filled, and level cleared for the menu scenes, and import the menu scene. And the menu scene is basically an extension of the scene, and when a menu scene is displayed on a scene, you can actually attach it to a scene as a child scene, and it actually pauses the main scene, it pauses the update handlers, all that good stuff. So now we need to go ahead and create some create some methods to create both our loader and our level filled and our level cleared scenes. All right. So now the main thing to know about scenes is that they have their own backgrounds, they have their own buttons, all that good stuff. So we can actually create it separately from our scene. So we can do private void and create level filled scene, and to start you do level filled equals new menu scene, and it's going to take a parameter called the camera, or take an argument called camera, and we need to set the position level filled set position to 0 0, and now we can start creating our menu items. So what we can do is we can actually just go ahead and do final menu item and call this restart button, and equal new scale menu item decorator. And basically this just decorates our menu item. It basically lets it scale up when it's clicked. And do new sprite menu item, and inside we're going to do restart. That's going to be the code that we pass it, and resource manager, and this is going to be restart button texture. And last but not least, we need to give it some scale. Actually no, we give it the VBOM, so we need to pass it VBOM, And outside of here, we need to simply give it the scale factors. So we're going to do like 1.2 f and 1. Now what these both do is they actually say, hey, listen, when the button's not pressed, I want it to be scaled to a factor of 1, which is a normal state. And when the button's clicked, I want it to be scaled to 1.2, and just to give it a little animation. So let's go ahead and import these items here. Import the scale menu item, and import. Looks like I did something wrong. Oh, sprite menu item. Import that. All right. And now we need to go up to the top of our class and create a constant for our restart button. So we do private final static, and actually we can do final, call it restart, and equals 0. Now what this does is it basically, int, forgot int. So what this does is it says, hey, listen, I want you to make a call to the menu item listener and report the code restart. And when that code is reported, we can actually do something specifically to that code. Next thing, we need to go ahead and copy this, Control C, Control V, and we're going to change this to quit button, and we can just change this restart here to quit, and this texture here should just be quit button, and everything else can stay the same. So now we need to go up to the top again and create a private final int, we call it quit, and it's going to equal to 1. All right. Next thing, create our background. So we need to do sprite bg equals new sprite, and I'm going to set it to 0 by 0, and we're going to do resources manager, and it's going to be level filled bg, and pass it to bbomb. All right, that's it. So next we need to go ahead and attach the background. So level filled dot attach child, and attach the bg background, and set level filled background, set background enabled to false. And the reason we did this is so our scene won't show a black background, because this background here is just a sprite, so it's not actually a background. So with the level filled scene, we're not using a real background, so this sprite is going to be kind of like a dummy background, and we're just going to attach it. And since it takes up the whole scene, it can just basically count as a background. And set background enabled just sets it to false, so we can still see our scene through the background. So now let's attach our item. So level filled attach, it should be level filled. You're going to do add menu item, and then add the restart button, and then level filled, add menu item, then add the quit button. All right, and now we can just do level filled set or begin or build animations, and we have our level filled scene. So now let's go ahead and do our level cleared. So we can do private void create level cleared scene, and we're going to do basically the same thing we did up here, and we're going to be using the same exact buttons and everything. So we can actually just copy this entire thing here, Control C and Control V, and you want to change this to cleared, change everything to cleared. I forgot what we named it. Do this level cleared, so change this to cleared, and change this to cleared, change this to cleared, You pretty much want to change everything to cleared. All of the level filled blue items, you want to change all those to level cleared. Level cleared. All right, so we can leave both of these buttons the same, and we can change the background to cleared. I think it's cleared. Yeah, cleared BG, and we are done for our level clear scene. So now we need to go up to our main menu method here and create scene, and we need to call those methods. So this create level cleared scene. This create level filled scene, and let's go ahead and run that and make sure they compile correctly. All right, there we go. Play, and there we go. So everything compiles correctly. All of that works good, and yeah. So in our next scene, our next tutorial, we'll be working on actually failing and passing levels, which should be pretty cool. And yep, I'll see you guys in the next section.